Hello student, uh, this is the fourth paper of this semester, unit first. They are related with the wildlife conservation management and the environment protection. So this is about the topic is on the Environmental Protection Act and rules in 1986. So these rules is mainly useful for the protection of the plant as well as the animals, and if uh, the industry they are releases the effluents in the natural water bodies, there is some restriction to releases the effluent water, so that this rules is made in 1986 for their purpose. So in the introduction of this Environmental Protection Act and rules is the period of 1970 experience and ascend globally in industrialization leading to degradation of the environment at a very high pace, and the need was felt for a combined effort towards environment conservation from all over the world, and the result of these combined efforts was the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment, that is the Stockholm Conference, which are organized in 1972 from 5th to 16th June 1972. In India, as you know very well, the Bhopal gas tragedy was happened in 1984, called for the urgent legislation in the field of environment. In this background, the Parliament passed the Environment Protection Act 1986, and the Environment Protection Rules was established in 1986. The Stockholm Conference in 1972 was held from 5th to 16th June 1972 by the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment. The focus of this conference was the state of the global environment and the relationship between economic, science, and the environment in a political context. The emphasis was on solving environmental problems, but without ignoring social, economic, and developmental policy factors. The India played a very significant contributory role in this conference, and this conference laid the foundation of environmental legislation in the India. So this Stockholm conference they are leads to arrange in 1972 for the specifically in the human environment. The Environment Protection Act 1986, the act came into force on November 1986 and extends to the whole of India. The act was passed to provide for the protection and improvement of environment and for matters connected therewith. The act gives certain powers to the central government to take measures for the purpose of protecting and improving the quality of environment and to prevent the environmental pollution. म्हणजे आपण जर बघितलं तर हे 1986 जे एन्व्हायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन ॲक्ट आहे हा मेनली की प्रोटेक्शनसाठी एन्व्हायरमेंटला कशा प्रकारे आपण प्रोटेक्ट केलं पाहिजेत, त्याच्यापासून पॉवर जनरेट कसं केलं पाहिजेत, ते सेंट्रल गव्हर्मेंट किंवा स्टेट गव्हर्मेंट यांना कशा प्रकारे कंट्रोल केलं गेलं पाहिजेत. अँड दिस ॲक्ट डिझाईन द अम्ब्रेला the legislation designed to provide a framework for the central government coordination of the activities of various central and state authorities established under previous laws such as the Law Water Act and the Air Act. The environment important definition is that for the environment It includes the water, air, land, and the interrelationship which exists among and between water, air, and land, and human beings, other living creatures. The plant's microorganisms and property. The environmental pollutant means any solid, liquid, or gaseous substance present in such concentration as may be or tend to be injurious to the environment. The environmental pollution means the presence in the environment of any environmental pollutants, and the central government is most powerful under the EP Act. The general powers of the central government take all the necessary measures for environment protection and coordinate the actions of state governments and lay down standards of environment quality and pollutants, execute nationwide programs and restriction areas for the industries. म्हणजे इंडस्ट्रीज हे कुठे इस्टॅब्लिश करायचे आहे, त्याचं इन्स्पेक्शन त्या इंडस्ट्रीच्या प्रिमायसेसचं, त्याच्यानंतर प्रिपरेशन मॅन्युअल, codes guide the central government may appoint officers and entrust them with such power and function as it may deem it. त्यानंतर central government is most powerful under Environmental Protection Act, and they have a authority to direction the issue empowered in person, officer, or any authority. The central government is empowered to make rules to regulate. म्हणजे सेंट्रल गव्हर्नमेंटनी एक ऑथॉरिटी तयार केलेली आहे त्याच्या अंडरमध्ये कशासाठी, दी स्टँडर्ड्स ऑफ क्वालिटी ऑफ एअर, वॉटर ऑर सॉइल, the maximum allowable limits of pollutants, the procedure for the handling of hazardous substances, and the prohibition and restriction on the location of industries, and the procedure and safeguards for the prevention of accidents. The prevention, control, and abatement of environmental pollution under Environmental Protection Act 1986. There is no person industry is allowed to pollute the environment, and the procedure and processes are laid down to control the pollution, and it monitoring authority can carry out the inspection. म्हणजे पर्टिक्युलरली एक मॉनिटरिंग अथॉरिटी असते, ती अथॉरिटी तिथं त्याला चांगल्या प्रकारे इन्स्पेक्शन करतात, ते मॉनिटरिंग करतात, त्याच्यानंतर त्याचं सॅम्पल टेस्ट करतात. समजा एखादी इंडस्ट्रीज असेल आणि त्या इंडस्ट्रीजमधून काही इफ्लुएंट बाहेर येत असेल, समजा ते घातक असेल, ते बायोडायव्हर्सिटीला काही त्याचा परिणाम होत असेल, तर ते रिकमेंड करण्याचं काम, ते सॅम्पल ॲनालिसिस करण्याचं काम हे सेंट्रल गव्हर्नमेंटच्या अथॉरिटीकडे असते. म्हणून त्यांनी एक बॅलन्स केलेलं आहे वर्क. स्ट्रॅंजंट पेनल्टीज अँड पनिशमेंट्स, whoever contravenes the provisions of the act, maximum punishment up to 7 years and penalty up to 1 lakh or 5,000 per day for continue offense. म्हणजे जर असं काही जर आढळून आलं तर 7 वर्षापर्यंत त्याला पेनल्टी होऊ शकते. हे ॲक्ट खूप म्हणजे धोकादायक आहे आणि ते इंडस्ट्रीजला सुद्धा त्याचा त्रास होण्याची शक्यता असते. दी सलाईन फीचर्स ऑफ द ॲक्ट इज, आपण जर बघितलं, दिस ॲक्ट डील्स with criminal jurisdiction. Central government is most powerful. Environmental labs are established or authorized by central government, state government, that is CPCB or state PCB. The standards are laid down by central government and the state government CPCB or state PCB. The stringent penalties and punishments. The person having highest authority is prosecuted. Hazardous waste are defined and special procedure is laid down. Locus stand is relaxed, and the act is also applicable to government department. This is an umbrella legislation. अंब्रेला लेजिस्लेशन म्हणजे काय की एक एन्व्हायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन ॲक्ट आहे. हजार्डस वेस्ट रूल्स आहे त्याच्यामध्ये 1989चा. बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट रूल 1998. म्युन्सिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट रूल 2000. नॉईज पोल्युशन, ओझोन डिप्ल्युशन सबस्टन्स रूल, बॅटरी वेस्ट रूल, प्लास्टिक, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट 2011. अशा प्रकारचे रूल्स आहे. अंब्रेला लेजिस्लेशन परत 2011. असे वेगवेगळे रूल्स आहे आणि ते रूल्स इथे काम केले जाते. मग हे जसं ओलियम गॅस लीक केस आहे 1986ला झालं. मायनिंग डेहराडून व्हॅली 1987ला. तर अशा प्रकारे हे तिथे काम करते. दिल्ली गार्बेज केस आहे, श्रीम कल्चर केस आहे, कलकत्ता टॅनरीज केस आहे, गोवा फाउंडेशन, दीक्षा होल्डिंग, असे वेगवेगळे केस आहेत. तर याच्यावर एन्व्हायरमेंटल नॉर्म्स तयार केलेले आणि हे तिथे काम करतात. मेनली एन्व्हायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन रूल्स आहे 1986चा. इट प्रोव्हाइड द स्टँडर्ड फॉर इमिशन ऑर डिस्चार्ज एक्सेट्रा. द प्रोसिजर लेड डाऊन फॉर गिविंग डायरेक्शन अंडर by central government, and prohibition and restriction on location. Procedure to take samples. When any person is filling complaint, format of notice and details about whom to serve the notice. The format of environmental lab reports, format of environmental audit, and the schedule under Environmental Protection Rule 1986. Schedule lays down the procedure and standards for it is one different industries. Schedule 2 noise standards. Schedule 3 standards for motor vehicles. Schedule 4 central standards for effluents in land, surface, public sewer, land of irrigation, marine coastal areas, etc. तर हे अशा प्रकारे एन्व्हायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन ॲक्ट 1986चा आहे.